CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Sears, where there's more for your life. Honda, maker of the Civic hatchback. And by Prudential Bates Securities, rock solid, market wise.
Minnesota against Dallas and a quarter left at Texas Stadium. 28-24, Vikings lead. Second down and 5 at the Dallas 18. The handoff is to Nelson. Hit and thrown backwards by Ed Jones. 4 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 1.
I think right now is where the Cowboys start playing with that urgency, because, as we said yesterday, you could just feel it that, you know, you can always say mathematically you can do this and you can do that, but I think they all feel that if they don't win today, that they don't have a chance for the playoffs. Conversely, if they do win, then they have a real good shot.
3rd and 1. Allen Rice hit short of the first down, a loss of 2. And the Vikings will have to go for the field goal. Diassi was the man who made the hit.
Watch this defense here in these white shirts coming down the line, making the cutback, forcing them into the cutback, and then everyone just scraping off that thing. A lot of bodies being hurled in there.
Coleman will hold. Nelson to try the field goal from 33 yards away. Kick is good by Chuck Nelson. So now with 13:33 left to play, it's Minnesota 31, Dallas 24. Cowboys have gotten 14 points off turnovers. Darrin Nelson has 117 total yards for the Vikings, and Danny White has thrown for 2 touchdowns and 164 yards. Getting set for the Minnesota kickoff. And John, what sort of philosophy do the Dallas Cowboys have now on offense?
Well, I think that was a big defensive series by him there, because where they were able to hold off the touchdown, now they were 4 points down and they needed a touchdown. Now, because they held them, they still only need a touchdown to tie them. I think that's what the Cowboys have to think. They have to think in terms of 1 score, coming up with a tie, then going for the win. Of course, the Vikings, right now, when you get that 7-point lead, you just want to get all over these guys.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing very well on defense. They've held Herschel Walker and Tony Dorsett very much in check. Line drive kickoff comes to one of the upmen. That's Timmy Newsom, who gets it back to the 35. 10-yard return. Danny White returns. 13:26 left to play. 31-24. Minnesota leads Dallas.
You know what's such a big part of this football today is a crowd. I think right now what the Vikings want to do by swarming and not letting them get anything out of here, they can quiet this crowd. Conversely, if the Cowboys can get a play, then this place will really jump.
Here's Herschel Walker. Looking for some place to go and finding a little bit of room. And he picks up 5 before Jesse Solomon stopped him. Temperature when the game began was 55 degrees. Sort of a damp cold, but not bad at all.
I wonder when these people that come to a 3 o'clock game, I wonder when they eat Thanksgiving dinner. Must be a night deal, huh?
Either that or it's their breakfast.
That's a possibility.
You got a turkey going to bus, going to Washington.
I got one waiting after the game. Whack into that turkey and start eating.
Here's White back to throw. With some protection for a while. Doug Martin finally breaks it down. That's the 6th sack of Danny White.
It was interesting. Doug Martin said that he really wanted to beat the Cowboys, not because it's such a big game, he said, but also because of the strike. He felt that during the strike, too many of the Cowboys came back in. The Vikings didn't have any players come in. And he said that we'd like to beat them just because it's a game, but we'd like to beat them for the strike. I don't know. I mean, he's playing pretty well.
Yes, he is.
You know, sometimes they talk before the game, and they don't always do it.
3rd and 13. There are still some lingering memories. Don't be fooled. White gets it to Newsom. It won't be enough for a first down. They'll have to punt. He picked up 7. He did well to get anything out of it. Jesse Solomon made the stop on Newsom.
It was said the Viking defense had to go after and get all over him, and they were all over Danny White on that play. That was a defensive series at that time that the Vikings needed.
Saxon will punt now with 11 and a half minutes left to play. The Vikings up by a touchdown. Are down in a hurry. Jesse Penn and Bill Bates. So Minnesota takes over after a 32-yard punt by Saxon. 11:24 left to play. This will be Thanksgiving John Madden style as they head right after the game to Washington, where our game is Sunday. Willie Arbor, the driver. And as you go back to the luxurious area, there's the bird.
That's a bird. And you see what's sitting right beside the bird? There's a football.
That's dessert.
That's right. And we're going from here to Washington for the Redskin-Giant game. Those are the only 2 things you need. There's a turkey to eat and a football to throw. What else the guy needs?
Not much. Nelson, left side, chased down by Eugene Lockhart. Picked up 8 yards nevertheless.
Over there on Darryl Smith. Yeah, he's the guy, of course, that is blocking Chris Dolman today, and I think he really did a pretty good job.
He's the one that took Mark Tuinay's place after only 1 or 2 plays. And as you say, he's done a good job.
That's tough for a rookie to have to come in a game like this and then play against a guy like Dolman, who's a big pass rusher.
2nd down. Enough for a first down. A gain of 5 by Fenney. Here's Danny White over on the phone in front of the Dallas bench, talking with the offensive coordinator, Paul Hackett.
And they know what they're talking about. Probably to get the ball to Herschel Walker and probably some first down passing. And of course, you talk about all the situations. You talk about what you do on first down and what you do your next long yardage, what you do with next goal line. They have to be thinking in terms of a touchdown.
1st and 10 Vikings. Now under 10 minutes remain. Wilson, the quarterback, going for Carter, who has it in front of Walls and down at the 1-yard line. Anthony Carter has made some acrobatic catches today. That's the latest one.
He can get up in the air and turn his body. In fact, he looked on that play like he still can't believe it. Although it could be because he wanted the touchdown too. But watch his throw and watch Anthony Carter get position, get up in the air, keep Everson Walls to his back, and still catch that ball. Pocket here now, the way Wade Wilson, because he has good pass protection, he can step up. And because he can step up, he can get full velocity on the ball. But it's great having Anthony Carter on the other end of it.
Carter's caught 6 passes for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. 1st and goal at the 1.
Well, I think they could be looking at that, and maybe that's another touchdown. But I'll tell you, here he is right here just against Walls. He comes down here right up there. Good pass protection in the middle. And again, that's the thing that lets Wade Wilson step up. Watch Carter out here. He gets outside of him. Now he just runs beyond him. Wade Wilson, because he can step up, can lead him out to the front of him. And then I don't know how the official comes up with spotting the ball there.
They're reviewing in the replay booth, whether it's touchdown or whether it's where they spotted it.
Well, Anthony Carter has already had 2 touchdowns today. Now it's after he's touched. I mean, after he catches the ball, is he touched?
After review by instant replay, the play was ruled dead in the booth on the 3-yard line, not the 1-yard line. 3-yard line.
Yeah, you see what they're saying is that Everson Walls touched him when he had the ball on the 3-yard line.
So he went to the ground as a result of the contact with Walls. That's Allen Rice. Down at about the 1-foot line.
Did you see number 72, David Huffman, come flying over that pile?
He hit Everson Walls and knocked him about 8 yards in the end zone.
There it is, right at the top of the screen. Watch him. He just jumps right over his guy. Walls is standing there, and he sees a purple jersey come flying at him.
Tough series for Everson Walls. About a foot away. Touchdown. Rick Fenney over the left side from a yard out.
You have to give that touchdown to Wade Wilson and Anthony Carter. And their pass protection here, they get it in. Watch, good drive blocking on that left side. There is a little penetration, but Fenney's able to get outside that penetration and find a soft spot outside. That guy's big enough in the old days. Remember, guards were that big, that's 240 pounds.
Coleman holding Nelson for the extra point. Minnesota now leads 38-24. 8:24 remaining at Texas Stadium. Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining, but Minnesota in command. Football when 2 Southeastern Conference rivals meet in a game that'll have a major impact on the bowl picture. It'll be Alabama against Auburn. Auburn ranked 7th. That's tomorrow live at 2:30 Eastern Time here on CBS. Minnesota 38, Dallas 24 with 8:24 left to play. Vikings trying to shut the door and ensure a playoff spot for themselves, and the Cowboys desperately hoping they can pull off a miracle and maybe keep their hopes alive. Kelvin Martin at the 11. Flag on the play. Martin had an alley, almost broke it. Returned at 20, but they'll bring it all back.
Yeah, you realize these Vikings with 6-1 with their regular players, you wonder, had there not been a strike, if where they would be. I mean, would they be the best record in the NFL?
Personal foul, blow to the head, 15 yards from this spot, and it'll be first down.
That's Jesse Penn twice with the blows to the head now.
Well, that's the same thing. I think what he was thinking, you know, the first time we saw him do that, he was just playing off a block. And then the second time he hit to the head. So I don't know if this is the same type of thing where you play off your block on the shoulders, then you get up to the head, and you can't hit him in the head again.
So it's 1st and 10 Cowboys at their own 12-yard line with 8:15 left to play. Tony Dorsett now in the backfield. White fumbles the exchange from center and is down by Stafford Mays before he can get anything done. Again, that's a new center.
Yeah, that's George Lilja in there. He's a bigger guy than Tom Rafferty, and he's been playing more and more as a center. Usually they use Lilja on the run downs, and they bring Rafferty in on the pass downs or the shotgun down. But anytime you get a different center with a quarterback, then you're going to have problems.
7 sacks, 3 hurries, 1 knockdown, and forced 2 fumbles. And Danny White's been intercepted 1 time, so they've given him a long, hard afternoon. Almost intercepted by Joey Browner. And that would have been 6.
I'll tell you, there's a player, Joey Browner. I think that, you know, when you talk to the Viking coaches and players and so on, that they feel that this guy could very well be the best player in their team. I mean, he's their Pro Bowl player, and their defense as a safety, he's an impact player.
Tremendous strength in his hands and arms. Third and 13 from the 9. White in the end zone. Caught by Mike Renfro. Tackled by Isaac Hope. Good effort by Renfro.
That was something by Renfro, the way he went up in the air, because Isaac Holt was right there with him. Watch him as Holt's going to come in there. The ball goes up in the air. Holt's there. The ball's there. And you talk about having strong hands. Renfro got up there and just plucked that thing right out of the air.
He has said this is going to be his last year. His father was a great player, mostly with the Browns. Here's Danny White back to throw. For Barksdale. Another first down up to the 47. Scott Stockwell back there to make the stop. But the clock is running with 6:45 now remaining.
Well, the Cowboys are going to have receivers. They'll lose Mike Renfro, as Tom Landry said about Barksdale, that he has all the talent, but he's just an inexperienced guy, and it's going to be time. Then if they can get Mike Sherrard back. We saw him yesterday. He has a cast on his leg and a metal plate in there. He still has to have surgery to have the plate taken out.
First down, Cowboys. White going deep to Walker, and he's got it. Herschel Walker out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Bugamos on the tackle. Stafford Mays hit White just as he let it go.
Number 24 is Wyman Henderson. He's really running stride for stride with him, but when he looks back at the ball, he loses a step, and that's when Herschel Walker caught it. That was a pretty good throw, though.
Led him away from the defender, everything. Just inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal from there. 6:14 left to play. Cowboys and Vikings both have all 3 of their timeouts left. The direction of Walker. And incomplete.
This guy is a one-man gang, isn't he? You look at rushing yards and say, yeah, but he didn't gain 100 yards. But when you add up both of those, you know, that's a full day's work. When a guy can make 160, and then, you know, if this thing keeps going, he can have a couple hundred yards.
Second down just inside the 10. Beg your pardon, the ball's at the 14. Back to throw. Up into the pocket. Renfro, touchdown. As they drag him back out of the end zone, the Cowboys react. Here come the flag. I didn't see who was dragging Renfro out of the end zone.
It was Joey Browner. You're talking about how strong his hands were. He just picked up Renfro and pulled him back out of the end zone. That upset the Cowboy offensive team, and they all came swarming down to the goal line. Good pass protection. Danny White can see, can step up. It's Renfro. Watch, Renfro breaks the plane there. Watch, the play's over. Joey Browner picks him up, carries him back out, and dumps him back outside. Renfro's the first guy up in there. Watch 68
On the tackle, unsportsmanlike conduct. On the defense, half the distance to the goal.
All against the defense, against Joey Browner.
Yeah, we said he was strong. You see, he just picked up Mike Renfro by the seat of the pants. Just whirled him right out of the end zone.
I'll tell you what, too, John, when the Cowboys got there, he didn't back away either.
you ought to get 8 points for a play like that. Renfro should. That ought to be worth more than 6 when you dive in, you knock back out, you fight. You ought to get some points.
That would change the complexion of the game.
He's padded up like a linebacker.
Ruzek. The extra point is good. 38-31 now. Here it is again.
Renfro, he gets that ball across the plane, and look, he thinks it's all over. Like a whirling dervish.
Kerr trying to finish things off. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. We're at Texas Stadium, and the score is Minnesota 38, Dallas now 31. The penalty will be given to Dallas on the kickoff, so they'll kick off from the 50-yard line. 6:04 left to play. Both teams have all their timeouts remaining.
This is a time, if there were less time to go, this would be a good time for an onside kick. But I think with the time that we have remaining here, I don't know that you would want to take that chance.
They're plotting something. Ruzek hadn't come out yet. He's still over talking with Tom Landry and Everson Wall.
See what happens is you're kicking off from the 50. So if you try an onside kick and don't make it, they'll get the ball in the 40. So if you kick it into the end zone or down, they're probably going to get it on the 20 anyway. So what you're doing is you're gambling 20 yards of field position for the opportunity to get the ball right back.
Looking at the Viking return team, one of the guys in their front line is their third quarterback, Rich Gannon. You don't see that very often.
Oh.
They can go short. A fair catch is the kickoff. You don't see that one very often either. Fair catch of a kickoff, which is certainly legal. Alan Rice is the man who did it.
Well, you can do that, and I think what they're thinking is that the coverage was going to get down there. You can fair catch a kickoff. Again, now they have the ball on the 8-yard line, though. I think he thought that the coverage team was closer than they were.
5:59 now left to play. First and 10 Vikings at their own 9. Wade Wilson, the quarterback. Ron Francis is back at cornerback. Handoff is to Darrin Nelson, chased by Jones, and hammered after a gain of perhaps 2 at the 11.
I just checked the intensity meter here, and the level in this fourth quarter has gone up 22 decibels.
Can you draw that?
You can just feel that. You talk about the urgency and what this game means, and the bigness of this game. You can feel it now in the play in the field.
2nd and 8. This crowd really has come to life. Crowd of over 54,000. It was not a sellout. Here's Nelson. He's hit by Mike Hegman at the 15. It'll bring up the 3rd and 5. Eugene Lockhart also on the tackle.
This is a tough position for the Vikings because you're backed up and you would like to get out and get some first downs, but you don't want to open up because you can't afford a turnover here. So you hate to be conservative, but you just about have to be.
Danny Noonan comes in and Randy White goes out. Keep everybody fresh if you can. Leo Lewis, the man in motion. Here's Wilson. Incomplete. Intended for Nelson. Evan Brooks again put the pressure on Wilson.
That was a poor throw by Wilson. He short-armed that one. defenseman shows up and a quarterback, not in the long ones, but in the short passing.
Coleman right at the goal line. Kelvin Martin back deep for Dallas. Trying to set up a return, and this is another line drive. And it could be. Martin gets back to the 48. Joey Browner to make the stop on the return. A 43-yard punt and a return of 5 by Martin. Clock stops on that change of possession with 4:23 remaining.
What Tom Landry has been talking about this whole time is just this. Get them, hold them on defense, get good field position. Now we have plenty of time. 4 minutes, 23 seconds. So time isn't important, but we need a touchdown. We can't get a field goal now. We need a touchdown, tie them up, then go for the win.
Dorsett is the lone setback. He gets the handoff right side, nothing there. Maybe a yard. Scott Studwell made the stop, and the clock now continues to run.
The other thing you realize here is that you're in a 4-down area, because I think once you're inside the 50, you're probably not going to punt the ball anymore when you're down by 7. So you're thinking in terms of 4 downs to get a first rather than 3 downs.
2nd and 8. It upfield to Newsome. Newsome hit from behind, short of a first down. A gain of 7. It'll be 3rd and about a yard. Chris Dolman brought him down.
I think Newsome made one cut in there that he wished he hadn't, because he looked like had he turned it up the first time, he could have gotten a first down. Again, they bring Tom Rafferty back in there. They want to make sure of that snap. Two make it. White back to throw. Gets it out to Barksdale. Barksdale struggling to get out of bounds, and he does. Henderson made the stop, and that is enough for the Dallas first down and a pickup of 18. Barksdale is going to come all the way across from left to right. Danny White's looking. He sees Barksdale. He can lead him to the outside. Barksdale has that good speed, but he couldn't get past Wyman Henderson. Barksdale, again, didn't play football, in high school or college, so as we watch here, he's getting learning this game. He's getting some of that experience. First down, Dallas at the Minnesota 26. Draw play to Newsome. Newsome inside the 20 to about the 18, a gain of 8. 2:40 left on the scoreboard clock now. Isaac Holt, Steve Freeman made the stop on Newsome. Jimmy Newsome's the type of guy you always tend to forget. You know, there's Herschel Walker in the backfield, or Tony Dorsett, and all in. There's Newsome's always a fullback, who every game seems to come up with a big player. Sure does. 2nd down and 2. The ball's at the 18. 2:15 left to play. White has Renfro, touchdown.
Isaac Hope, the cornerback.
Well, he doesn't run in with him. The safety goes for Herschel Walker, so that leaves Renfro wide open. And that's the guy. Part of it was Danny White. That's what he's telling Renfro there. He said, I was looking for Herschel. I was looking him off. And then Renfro came wide open.
White is now 22 out of 35 for 304 yards and 4 touchdowns. 3 to Renfro, 1 to Walker, and he scored the other one himself. Ruzek to kick off. Neil Gugamus back deep for Minnesota. 5 plays it took the Cowboys to tie it up at 38. Still, the Vikings have 3 timeouts remaining and over 2 minutes left to play. Mike Larkey is the up man who took the kickoff from Ruzek. Puts the Vikings not in bad shape. Ron Burton. Well, the playoff picture is always complicated. Right now it's 38-38. And look at the people who are watching with interest.
Well, all those teams below Dallas, Green Bay, Philadelphia, St. Louis, and everything, all have to be rooting right now for the Cowboys.
First down, Minnesota at their own 38. Wilson back to throw. Has time now. Is flushed out of the pocket. Pass complete. Leo Lewis made the reception. A gain of 22, and they get into Dallas territory. That's the 2-minute warning. Actually, it's 1 minute and 54 seconds. And the Vikings just trying to get in field goal range.
Senior VP MIS, big RFP, no imaging. So I'm showing him 4 windows in the Wang workstation. IBM, VS. He says, I know you can do that. I saw your commercials. 5th window is a whiz file. He says, what's that? I said, that's an image of the RFP you sent last week. We put it on, we scanned it and put it on.
Award-winning Best Picture starring Ben Kingsley. That's tonight on CBS. First and 10, Vikings at the 40. Back to throw, chased under pressure and down. The boys had ever a big sack. Eugene Lockhart.
I think every time they bring Lockhart, you're going to see him. He's here in the middle. They hardly ever bring him on a blitz. But when they do, they always get pressure with him. That time, Jeff Rohr is also coming. But usually when Lockhart's in there, they don't. You see the center is coming out again to block the outside linebacker. Now, whether Lockhart read that or was going anyway, I don't know. That's the second time they caught him.
Second down at 23. Back at the 47 now. No blitz this time. Wilson gets it out to Darrin Nelson. Covered by Mike Hegman. A gain of 5. Gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:14 remaining. Timeout Minnesota now. He evidently did not get out of bounds, so they had to burn a timeout. 38-38. The senior producer for the NFL on CBS is Charles Milton. This game produced so capably by Bob Sinner, Robert. Directed by Sandy Grossman. And the rest of our group. We like to work on holidays.
I'll tell you, it sure is something to, have all the guys, and then we really have our Thanksgiving the night before, like we did last night, and that's always one of the things we look forward to each year with all these guys who are really the tops.
Plus, they all make speeches.
Yeah, well, that's good too. Then play a little cards, whatever.
3rd and 18, the ball at the Cowboy 48-yard line. Minnesota now with 2 timeouts remaining, 1 minute and 14 left in the contest. Unless we have overtime. Wilson is chased out of the pocket again. Gets it back up the field, incomplete, intended for Leo Lewis over his head. Randy White limps off the field. And it's 4th down, and they put in the 20 unit.
Watch them, they're all going out. They have that stunt where the tackles work out, the ends work in. Watch Randy White take off. He gives Wade Wilson a pop, and as he does, it looked like he gave his right ankle a pop.
And he limped off. Here's Coleman. This is a good kick. And signal for, and in. Finally to the end zone. 48-yard punt. Randy White pointing to his right knee.
It looked like it happened just as he went to make that hit on Wade Wilson.
Like
he went to pop him, and something popped in him.
Like he stepped on his other foot. It popped something.
You know, I can smell an overtime mixed in with that turkey smell.
That's that good aroma you talked about a couple of weeks ago.
There was a whiff in the air.
Yeah. 56 seconds left to play for Dallas. They have the ball at their own 20, and they have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Andy White to Renfro. First down at the 32. What a day he's had. Gain of 13.
You know, and that's coming off a week, and the Vikings, watch that film. They played Monday night. The Cowboys against Miami didn't complete a pass to a wide receiver. So the Vikings are probably thinking, hey, they don't even throw to those guys.
It's interesting the way Tom Landry said the Cowboys have been playing this game so long, how they prepare. He said, we prepare for 10 days. We started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and then they have coaches working on the game plan, so the game plan was ready after the Sunday night game.
Out of bounds, incomplete. Renfro was the nearest Cowboy there. Just didn't have time to get it to him.
That was a good pass rush by the Vikings because Renfro just stopped and was standing on the sideline wide open.
38-38 with 47 seconds left to play. Well, that's a little different from last week, huh?
Yeah, and that's just the second half. In the second half, they came out and they threw 11 times to the wide receiver. Of course, still don't go much to the tight end.
2nd and 10. Out of the spread. Screen pass up the middle to Walker. Walker out of bounds. Did not get the first down. Isaac Hope knocked him out of bounds after a gain of 5. 3rd down and 5 at the 38.
There's Nate Newton. You know, he was coming in, started having a great year in training camp in the beginning of the season. Jim Erkenbeck, the new offensive lineman, thought he was really doing well. He got hurt in that Giant game, remember? During the strike, he had a scope, arthroscopic surgery, and he's come back and he's playing, but he's not what he was coming out of training camp.
Yeah, they said he was their best lineman when they started the season. Viking blitz. Pass intercepted. Yes, by Isaac Hope. A diving interception. 34 seconds left to play. The Vikings will take over.
Watch Isaac Holt here. Watch him stretch out. He gets the jump, just lays out and gets the ball right at the end of his fingertip. Hey, you know, forget the coverage. That's a great catch. Does he have both feet in bounds? One. Well, one knee equals 2 feet.
Or whatever part of the anatomy. First and 10 Minnesota at the Dallas 49. 34 seconds left to play. Vikings have 2 timeouts remaining. Dallas now takes 1, and they only have 2 left.
Of course, what Dallas is defending now is a field goal, and that's what the Vikings are going for. They need about a completion of about 12 to 15 yards to get in that field goal range.
Tommy Kramer started at quarterback for the Vikings. Hurt his arm, and Wade Wilson has taken over. Chuck Nelson has a career-long field goal of 53 yards. So as John Madden said, they need a completion of about 15 to get him in that range. coming up Sunday here on CBS, the NFL. Here is our doubleheader schedule. Green Bay against Chicago, Philadelphia, New England, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Atlanta. Those are the early games. And then the Giants, Washington, or Tampa Bay against the Rams. Gonna now be in Washington for the Redskins and the Giants. 1st and 10, the ball at the 48. Nelson almost picked off as it bounced off his hands by Ron Francis. 2nd and 10.
It's interesting that the Cowboys have blitzed from their 4-0 defense very little. Look at that huddle there. They have a separate huddle for the defensive backs and linebackers and a separate huddle for the linemen.
2nd and 10, the ball at the 48. Randy White, by the way, is back in the game, so whatever happened to him wasn't too serious. Handoff is smothered right at the line of scrimmage to Anderson by Kevin Brooks. A loss of 2. Timeout, Minnesota. 1 left.
I think they were trying to fool him there, thinking that they would get the Cowboys in that big pass rush and they'd be able to slip Anderson right by him. Of course, Kevin Brooks was on a rush and he just went right into him. I don't know about that call. You know, it's easy to second guess and say you wouldn't have done it, but if I were at the 50 and I had 2 shots, a 2nd down shot and a 3rd down shot, I would want them both to be the forward pass.
Not fooling them.
No, I think I would pass protect him and get back there and throw it because, as I said, the Cowboys really haven't been blitzing. It's just a 4-man rush.
Minnesota 1 timeout remaining. Dallas 2, 25 seconds left, 38-38 the score.
Randy White went over to talk to his coach, Ernie Stockner. I'd like to have a mic on that conversation.
Anthony Carter split wide to the left. Leo Lewis and Hassan Jones to the right. Wilson looking at a 4-man rush. Back he is to throw, and now chased out of the pocket again. Has Lewis open, and Lewis dives out of bounds, and they're in field goal range. 18 seconds left to play. A 22-yard pickup.
Well, that one you have to give to the Viking offensive line. As I said before, they have to get this pass protection down. They gave Wilson an opportunity. Then he could run to his right a little and buy another opportunity. And at the end of that, he finds Leo Lewis wide open on the sideline.
Now, they still have 1 timeout left. Clock is stopped now with 18 seconds left to play. 38-38. Touchdown in the backfield is Alfred Anderson. And timeout, Minnesota.
Much too tall Jones here. He's starting out like he's going on a pass rush, and he realizes it's not a pass, so he works back down the line on the run defense. I think they lost. Did they lose on that?
Yeah, he lost a yard.
Yeah, that'll just make it 1 yard longer for Chuck Nelson.
Nelson's longest, 53 yards. Minnesota out of timeouts. Dallas still with 2. In comes Nelson. Ball should be about 45, 46 yards away, maybe. So it's certainly not a chip shot. There is no such thing in a situation like this. 46 yards out with Coleman holding. No good. No good. 9 seconds left.
To it.
to remain.
Right shot there.
Now will they just run it out?
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Yes, they do.
We'll go to overtime. They'll take a 3-minute break, and then it'll be just like we start the play again. The Vikings won the toss. Tommy Kramer called heads. Look at Tom Landry's reaction to the coin toss.
You know, there's always that argument that in sudden death, if the team that receives scores, should the other team get the ball again? And of course they didn't. So everyone realizes when you get into sudden death, when you get into overtime, that the flip is a big deal.
So theoretically, if the Vikings take the ball and move it and get a field goal on this drive, that's the end of it, and Dallas never gets a shot.
The tough thing about this, remember that this is coming off a short week, that these guys have to be tired coming into this game, worn down a little, and then to play in overtime on Thanksgiving Day is a tough deal.
Ruzek's kick goes to Gugelman. From the 5. With room. Drops the ball. Bounced right back to him. Michael Downs knocked him out of bounds. Last Thanksgiving game I did in overtime was in Detroit, and they returned the kickoff all the way for a touchdown to win it. Ooh.
That is something, isn't it? How that ball bounces up only on artificial turf. That's his Thanksgiving Day present, that bounce.
If he hadn't come back up with it, he might have been the turkey. Wade Wilson, the quarterback. Back to throw on first down. Gets it outside, caught by Carter. And out of bounds in Dallas territory. Gain of 9 or 10 close to first down yardage. Ron Francis on the coverage.
Well, you see, Carter just beats him there with that quickness on the out. He gives him the stutter step, then out. And the thing you notice about Anthony Carter, he always has that one step coming back to the ball.
What a day he's had. Almost had a third touchdown, wouldn't you, though? Wilson gives for the first down to Rick Fenney over the right side. And they move after a gain of 4 into Dallas territory to the 46. We're in overtime. Score tied 38-38.
We saw Ernie Stautner talking to Michael Downs here. Michael Downs is a guy who makes the calls in the secondary and the adjustments. And of course, again, they're doing the same thing. They got to prevent, not a touchdown, you got to prevent a field goal here.
Good protection. Pass is incomplete, intended for Darrin Nelson, who was covered by Jeff Rohr.
I think when I get down now to second and third down, I would try and find Anthony Carter again. I know he's already caught 7 passes working over there on that left side, but if I had 2 shots, second down, I'd take second down and I'd throw it to Carter, and I'd come back third down and I'd throw it to Carter again.
You got to give this Viking offensive line some credit too. They've kept the Cowboy rush away from Wade Wilson. The last couple of series, he's had a lot of time. Flag down. Pass is complete to Fenney, and Fenney is down to the 14-yard line. Stopped by Everson Walls, but there's a penalty marker back down at the line of scrimmage.
The biggest play here is what's the call?
I think you know by now.
Offense, number 20. Holding. 10 yards, still second down.
Ooh.
I think he called that on Darrin Nelson, number 20. Had to be in there to pick up a blitz, but that would have been the game-winning play there. I think Mike Hegman came on a blitz from the left side, and Darrin Nelson, if they blitz, he has to stay in there. You can see it on the right-hand part of the screen. See him blocking Hegman right there. And I Tell you, that will drive a coach to ulcers. Look at this. Anthony Carter, I think, was so wide open he couldn't believe it. He was looking down the sideline to see if he was going to score a touchdown.
Third down at 20. Vikings at their own 45. Too tall Jones, and they get the screen pass out to Alfred Anderson, and he drops the ball. Same thing. He was looking up the field.
I'll tell you, that was something. The Vikings had a penalty, called one back. Anthony Carter dropped one, and now Anderson does this. The Vikings have to be thinking, what do we have to do? The Cowboys are thinking we're lucky on that series.
Elvin Martin back deep, and Greg Coleman to punt for Minnesota. Off the side of his foot. Takes a Dallas bounce and goes out of bounds at the Cowboy 37-yard line. Boy, what a series that was for Minnesota.
That'll give the coach advantage.
Jerry Burns said during the week, hey man, somebody asked him something about his team and about how he was feeling, and he said, hey man, I feel good just to be 60 years old. I wonder if he still feels that way after that series.
Well, that's good going.
In overtime, 38-38. Here's Herschel Walker over the left side and stopped at the line of scrimmage. This has to rank right up there with the game in 1974 when Roger Staubach got hurt and Clint Longley came in and beat Washington.
George Allen still talking about that one. He said they had double coverage on the play.
Hit Drew Pearson, and George Allen kept saying, Longley, what's a Longley?
We were doubling him.
Second and 11. Lilja is the center. Crosby is on the move. White back to throw. Renfro away from one tackler to the Minnesota 43. He got away from Joey Browner, who has now got him by the face mask and picking him up again.
Hey, this has been some day for Mike Renfro. As we said earlier, this is going to be his last year, and he's going to make this last one a good one. When they give out the balls, the game balls on this one, Mike Renfro sure has to get one. Anthony Carter on the other side.
And he and Danny White will split it. Barksdale wide left. Renfro is out to the right. Hand off to Walker. Walker to the 40. Picked up 4, stopped by Stafford May. There are those last 3 plays in that disastrous Minnesota drive, if you can call it a drive. Carter dropped a pass, Anderson dropped a pass, and then Greg Coleman got off an 18-yard punt.
And the play before that one, before that started, was the worst one of all, where there was a holding penalty when they got the ball all the way down inside the 20.
Second and 6, Walker is split wide right. Newsom behind it, Danny White. Picked off. The Vikings get it right back. Picked off by Scott Studwell. And there was no one even near him. In spite of Danny White's day and the sensational yardage he's had, he still hears the boos from the crowd.
Yeah, that could be one of those that just slipped out of his hand. He's looking in the middle there. He gets a rush. There's no receiver in the area. I have no idea what he was looking at.
That could be one of those things where he doesn't have that feeling in his wrist.
And just trying to get it on the other side of the rusher.
Anderson and Nelson in the backfield. That's Nelson. Spun down at the 40 by Kevin Brooks and Randy White. Out of 41, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, but 3 intercepted for Danny White.
I think the way he looked at that hand, he said, I just didn't feel it. Like he's explaining there what happened. Just came out that way.
2nd and 7. Lewis, the man in motion. The handoff is straight ahead to Fenney, who just pulls his way for 4 yards, bringing up a 3rd. Stopped by Lockhart.
There's a defense over there talking. If they don't score here and the Cowboys get the ball again, what they're going to do. This has been a long day to have to take on the road.
9:55 left in overtime now. 3rd down and 3. You throw it. Nope. Fenney over the right side by Alfred Anderson. Stopped as he veered left, but got the 1st down. Stopped by Rohr. A pickup of 6.
Hey, that 3rd down, that was good blocking over there to get that corner so that Anderson could pick up that 1st down. Big Gary Zimmerman over there, the left tackle, did a nice job of moving Jeffco.
6'6" and 280. 1st and 10, Minnesota at midfield. We're in overtime. The handoff is to Nelson. He's got some blockers. But the pursuit caught him for no gain. Ed Jones made a good play. And he's asking for help now.
I think Ed Jones hurt himself. He raised his hand on that play. Maybe it's just being tired.
Could be.
You know, playing 2 games in 3 or 4 days. Watch Too Tall Jones. He's up there in the top. He just waits for that cutback. And there he is.
He made a good play. Don Smerrick has replaced Too Tall Jones. 2nd down and 10 still. Wilson to Carter. Carter slipped 1 tackle, another, and almost another as he gets inside the 30. Everson Walls finally got him down. A pickup of 19, and now they're back in field goal range.
Well, you can see Carter here. Most of his passes have been outside and up, and here he's just catching a slant right in front of Michael Downs. Downs misses, another miss. Then by the time they finally get him down, Everson Walls gets him. They're down just about the 25-yard line. They're in field goal range now. They can play safe.
1st and 10 at the 26. That's what they'll do. Right side is Fenney. Down to the 25. Pickup of 2. Downs on the stop, excuse me.
No, I was just saying an interesting thing that I always like to do was maybe run on 1st, run on 2nd, and then take a shot at the end zone on 3rd. And if you don't make it, then kick the field goal, because that way you get a 2-way go. You know, you get a 2-shot at it.
Chuck Nelson stretching those leg muscles on the sideline. 2nd and 8. Too Tall Jones back in the contest. Lewis in motion. Hand off to Nelson. And Darrin Nelson. Touchdown, and that's it. He might get a game ball, too. That one.
From the I formation, just lead man blocking, cuts back, finds just a little hole there, missed tackle, and then right here, touchdown.
Minnesota wins it 44-38 in overtime. Some contest.
All right, welcome back, everybody. What a fabulous football game, Irv Cross, and the start of a tremendous weekend. Let me quickly remind everybody that still ahead of us on this weekend. Tomorrow we'll have Alabama against Auburn at 2:30 Eastern Time. Then on Saturday we have our college football doubleheader. We will start at noon, Florida State against Florida, and then we will follow that with Miami in the Orange Bowl hosting the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And Irv, I'll tell you, for a time it didn't look like either team could score in overtime.
Well, I talked to the Vikings this morning, and what they wanted to do was force the Cowboys to throw the ball. And when White had to throw the ball 41 times today, they felt they'd be in pretty good shape, except he completed 25 passes for 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. What an exciting game.
Yeah, it really was. Wade Wilson and Darrin Nelson, two of the heroes. They're live right now with Pat Summerall and John Madden, so let's send you back down to Pat.
All right, Brent, thank you. Wade Wilson standing by. And, Wade, all I could say is, boy, how do you feel? I'm out of breath. I'm sure you are.
Yeah, I am. I tell you, that's a great victory for us because it really puts us in the playoff picture real good. And it's really especially sweet for me because I live in the Dallas area and make my home here in all season. So playing in front of a lot of family and friends, always a lot of fun.
Hey, Wade, how about that series? Not the last one, the one before that, where you hit one to Carter there and he dropped the ball, and then to Anderson and he dropped the ball.
Yeah,
how did the offense feel going off the field?
Well, that was not a real good series for us because we had the big throw and run for get us in field goal position and had that call back for holding and then a couple of drops. So, but we knew that the defense had been playing well all year, and they rescued us and give us the ball back, and we got to go down and win it for us.
Wade, congratulations. We know that this puts you very much in a solid position in the playoff picture. Thank you very much, and congratulations again.
All right, thanks a lot.
Score again, 44-38, raises the question as to who is the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings the rest of the way, too, I might add. Now, this was the second game earlier today, in case you missed it. Kansas City held off the Detroit Lions, and the final score in that one was 27-20. And the Chiefs break that horrendous losing streak early.
Well, of course, they were down in the dumps. Going into the game this week, early in the week, they had a lot of questions about whether or not they could win a football game. They hadn't won in so long. But I thought they played a marvelous game today.
Exactly, and the Detroit Lions came back in the second half, but a little bit too late for them. In the fourth quarter, they had an opportunity to stick in the tying touchdown, and the Chiefs came back with the big defensive effort. So the Dallas Cowboys go to overtime, and of course, all of you know, Irv Cross, that the Cowboys really get tough after these Thanksgiving Day games. At least traditionally, they get that extra time off now, and a week from Sunday, they may make that run for the wild card. And we have Darrin Nelson hooked up now with Pat Summerall, so let's send you back now to Darrin and Pat.
Darrin, 16 carries for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 catches. The last touchdown, that has to go down as being one of your great thrills of all time.
I've always dreamed about scoring a touchdown in overtime and just winning a football game, so I'm real happy about it. I can't wait to get in the locker room and share it with the fellas.
The first one that you had earlier was a trap block, and then the last one, the game-winning one, was just man blocking, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just man blocking. It was our best man against their best man, and our best man won.
I'll tell you one thing about you, Darrin. It doesn't take a big haul for you to get through it quickly, and you did that on that big run.
Our teammates tease me about that all the time because when we line up sometimes, defense can't see me, so I think it worked pretty good today.
Well, we wish you, and I know it was, a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Mom, Dad, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Now let's go back to Brent.
All right, Pat, and once again, our final score, Minnesota 44, Dallas 38, and we will continue in just a moment.